It is a complicated issue that has put the Biden administration under pressure. And joining us live tonight to talk about the situation at the border is Texas State Senator Donna Campbell. She's a Republican who serves on the state's Border Security Committee. Also joining us is Clara Long, an associate director with Human Rights Watch, focusing on immigration and border policy. I want to thank both of you for joining us tonight. So first we want to start with those videos that we just showed. So let's take a look at them. We saw that smugglers throwing two toddlers or dropping two toddlers over the border wall. Now, again, luckily, those two children were okay. Border Patrol agents were able to see it on that surveillance video. Go ahead and rescue those children. And then we're going to show you another video. It shows, this was shot by our Marky Martin. It shows migrants leaving after being tested for COVID-19 in downtown McAllen, Texas, and then essentially being released into the city. So Donna, Clara, we're interested in both of your reactions to the incident seen on these videos. Clara, let's start with you.
Look, from a human rights perspective, nobody wants to see children being treated in this manner. That's exactly, there's no reason to defend that at all. On the other hand, do you want the alternative? Do you want children, or not the alternative, but do you want a harsh response when children enter the U.S. in this way? Do you want to then expel them back to more danger? I don't think people want that. I think what we want is to change the broken system that the Biden administration inherited from the Trump administration, build a new, a modern, a humane immigration system that won't involve, that should discourage crossing illegally, but at the same time, provide access to seek asylum for those who enter the U.S. when they need protection.
And Senator Campbell, what are your thoughts when you see those videos?
Well, I've been on the border, was down there last week, saw a facility where they had over 700 children, boys 13 to 17, at a cost of about $1,000 per day. Where we didn't get to go was the Donna facility. That's the facility where you're seeing snippets of the children side by side, close proximity, the aluminum blankets to try to keep them comfortable. The borders have been opened by Biden's policies with the promise of bright future for illegal aliens, but says nothing of the tragic human exploitation that happens, especially with our children. The snippet, the reels that you showed before truly happen. And it is not compassionate to promise people better lives, have them come over to facilities and stay where they are. They're supposed to move those children out within 72 hours, but there's not capacity. That's why in Texas we're seeing facilities pop up for longer housing in El Paso, Dallas, Midland, San Antonio, with more to come. These are the policies. I'll tell you what's tragic that people aren't aware, but you did touch on with your lead-in, is what the cartels are doing. They will flood the border with illegal aliens. This creates gaps because it occupies our border patrol, creates gaps then for the cartel to push their drugs, their cocaine, their heroin, their amphetamines, push them across the border. They make about $11 million a week. Exploitation of the children, between the money they get for the children and sex trafficking. That's inhumane. And with promises for a bright future,
Senator Campbell,
and no mention of what happens, that is sad.
Mm-hmm. And Senator Campbell, I don't mean to interrupt you here, and I know that the cartels are absolutely a real thing, but we also know that, many of these people really are fleeing dangerous situations. Senator Campbell, I know you blame it on the Biden administration. Clara, I know you're blaming it on a situation that was inherited from the Trump administration, but the facts are, we know that right now there are about 18,000 children in U.S. government care. This is a situation that the Biden administration has said is comparable, this surge, to previous surges at this same time in previous years. So this situation obviously does not have a simple solution, but how do we as a nation make this better versus kind of doing this blame game? This problem isn't going away regardless. So Senator Campbell, we'll start with you. What is the solution here?
Thank you. In 2019, just before the stay in Mexico policy that Trump enacted, there was about over 370 or so per day children, unaccompanied minors coming across. Now we're seeing 600, at least 600 per day coming across the border. These are the policies because they're promised a better life here, and that's not compassionate. The answer is to have order, decrease the number that come over. We don't have the capacity. We're not ready for this. To stay in Mexico until they get an asylum hearing. Mexico, shore up their southern border, shore up their northern border. Texas has stepped up with about almost $1 billion per session every 2 years to help secure our border. Biden needs to step in and try to fix the problem.
All right, and Clara, what's your response, or what are your thoughts on some type of actual feasible solution to this situation?
Look, if the senator really cares about making sure that people are treated humanely, we need to approach this problem from a realistic and practical perspective. We're coming from decades of a repression-based approach to managing migration. The Biden administration has outlined a long-term strategy to address the underlying reasons that people move, including increasing long-term funding to stabilize the places people are coming from and fleeing from. And then there's the short-term challenges at the border. The senator has signaled, and you have signaled, and I certainly agree, that having children in Border Patrol jails is not okay. That's not okay. That's not who this nation is, and that's not what needs to happen. So there's a short-term fix. Those kids need to get out of Border Patrol jails into more appropriate environments and reunited with sponsors who can take care of them while they go through immigration processes. But then the administration also needs to expand and improve the capacity to process people at the border. And they do that in a humane and dignified manner. Let me just end by saying that children and families have suffered so much at the border, and it's past time to do what the United States can do, which is to welcome them with dignity and manage migration so that this does not keep happening again and we're not stuck in this endless cycle.
All right. Well, thank you to both of you. Obviously, a very complicated senator.
I would just add that it's a difference between open borders and everybody get to come in versus the orderly manner we've had the immigration policies before. They have worked. If we need to improve on them, that needs to be in legislation, but it needs to be an orderly manner. It's chaos if people come across the borders. We are a nation of laws. No countries allow people just to flood in, and that's just not humane, and that's not compassion.
All right.
Our laws do provide, and other countries' laws provide the right to seek asylum.
All right. Well, Republican Texas State Senator Donna Campbell, we thank you for joining us. Clara Long with Human Rights Watch, thank you as well.
Thank you.
Obviously, a very complicated situation.